Welcome to the Collectibles Matrix. My name is Toby, and today we're going to be having a look at this Fasa Corporation catalogue, which came in a Battletech second edition box that I opened on the channel a few weeks ago. And with all the rule books and all the little tokens and expansions, because I've got quite a lot of extra stuff in that Battletech box, I found this catalogue of games and books. It was a surprise and a little window into the fall of 1986, when the Fasa Corporation was at the height of its powers. Now, as a company, it actually was pretty influential, and it initially ran between 1980 and 2001, and during that time it published a whole range of games. We're going to have a look at some of those today in this catalogue, but they did include Battletech and Shadowrun, as well as Star Trek the role-playing game, as well as some Doctor Who stuff, which is quite fascinating. We'll see more of that in here. So Fasa, let's position this so we can see this clearly. So 1986, I was 11 years old at the time. And first you can see here we have the Battletech box. This is the one that I opened, and it's a really awesome game that was the forerunner to a whole bunch of mech warrior related stuff and games, and Battletech still has a massive following. And with the recent kind of move away from Games Workshop for some people, they have gone back to games like Battletech and have been thoroughly enjoying it. I've been looking to collect some models and lay out a game myself. So that is the main box there. You can see it's got its own page with a nice mech in the background there. Now on the opposite side, we've got the Battletech novels. It's just got a few here. There are many more of these, but these ones here: Decision at Thunder Rift and the Sword and the Dagger. Okay, you've got two things that add flavour to this world and bring the kind of narrative about all the clans, and fascinating. We've also got Battle Force. This is a game of mass combat units, from lances to regiments, fight the battles of the successor states. Now, just a small bit there. Now that I have never played that game, and I suspect it's probably a bit more like Warhammer in the sense you have little units on one stand, and they will fight in a larger scale battle. That I haven't heard about that, and I've been very keen to find out more about Battle Force. And on the right hand side, we've got Battletech technical readout, a bit more kind of filler stuff for the actual Battletech game, which is fascinating. So there you get your Battletech spread, and that was obviously came in that box, so it makes sense that that was the first page. Then we move on to Mech Warrior, the role-playing game. This is Battletech, the role-playing game. So you are actually playing the Mech Warrior inside. You can see that person here, and so this is more to do with being able to get out of your mech, and there's other things: character generation, personal combat rules, equipment lists, and additional Battletech history fill out the supplement. So there's a lot more going on here. There's some potential expansions here. The succession wars: play the leader of one of the ruling houses of the successor states in the game of politics, combat, and economics. So we're taking it further, really evolving the Battletech world, and you can see the map set here advertised. So just to fill that out, so pretty intense. Now over here, Aerotech. You've got the same font as Battletech, so this is an expansion. Aerotech simulates the space combat fought before and during a Battletech drop on a hostile planet. Drop ships and their fighter escorts must travel close to the target planet to safely drop their cargoes of fighting mechs. So it's expanding it out. You can play the characters, you can play the drop ships. Pretty intense. Over this side, we've got thing. We got some other stuff here. This is Tales of the Black Widow. The supplement is packed with descriptions and exploits of one of the Battletech's most elite fighting companies. Right, so there again, this, as I was saying, they've been established for a few years now, 6 years, and they have a lot of lines of Battletech, and it's fascinating to see this kind of branding, this post-apocalyptic type approach. Now, we've got another Battletech expansion here, Fox's Teeth. The Fox's Teeth. The mercenary regiment Mackinnon's Raiders was nicknamed the Fox's Teeth for their long and successful history in carrying out policies of House of Hants, the Fox Davion. Now considered a house unit of the House of Davion. So again, really developed. What the Battletech world massively evolved, and here we have City Tech, contains all the rules necessary to play expert Battletech, as well as the extensive rules necessary to fight in a city. So there, we've got the full spread of Battletech interest. Now, complete change. You know, these are both science fiction, but Doctor Who's very far removed from a Battletech world. And interestingly, this is an American company, and they are moving on to a British IP. And they've obviously got the rights to make this the role-playing game, the Doctor Who role-playing game. I would love to get my hands on a copy of this and have a look through it. I've never played it. I think this for me wasn't really a huge part of my role-playing experience. It's something I would have watched on the TV, maybe on a Saturday, and been terrified by certain creatures and monsters within it. I used to love it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't something that I had dreamt about actually role-playing. And I probably didn't even know that there was a role-playing game. And naturally it says here, adventures through time and space. Doctor Who role-playing game. The TARDIS has materialised on the lawn of the White House in the year 1945. The stars and stripes are nowhere to be seen. Flying in their place are the red flags emblazoned with peculiarly crooked cross. Descending the ramp of the White House are 5 Daleks and a short man dressed in brown shirt with a red armband bearing the same crooked cross symbol. Suddenly realise what has happened here. So, bringing British IP to America to make it appeal to this particular market. And of course they were selling this stuff in the UK, so, you know, why not? But they've led here with something that's obviously leads straight into an American time, which is fascinating. So we've got expansion supplements here for the Doctor Who role-playing game. You can have a look. You can see we have the Master here. This 2-book supplement provides a complete portrait of the Doctor's arch nemesis, the Master, including the game's Master's book are the timelines of the Master's activities, his long-range goals, his hideouts, and so it goes on. We've got the Daleks. This was also a 2-book set, and it contains a 24-page summary of what the Time Lord Celestial Intervention Agency knows about its foes and the mechanical Daleks. And then my favourites down here, the Cybermen. Cybermen and the Sontarans supplements details his Time Lord foes in the same manner as the Daleks. So you've got lots of additional stuff, and then you've got some narrative adventures over here. Doctor Who adventures, so things you can play, and you've got your sonic screwdriver in the background decorating the pages there, of course, with the TARDIS over that side. Now this I have to say, when I first saw this, I thought this was awesome. We have here Doctor Who miniatures. Never seen these before, but they look amazing. They're on Hex Baits as well, which is interesting. So we have here a whole range. We've got William Hartnell here, the first Doctor, and then you've got a whole range of, you've got Cyberman there, Tom Baker, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. 25mm miniatures from Fasa. Using miniatures in role-playing games adds 3-dimensional reality to the game and helps you get into the action. No more guessing where your Time Lord is in relation to the other characters. With the Doctor Who miniatures, you will be able to see the action and feel you are part of it. Right, so these are designed to be used in the role-playing game, which makes sense, obviously. But I would love to have some of these. These look amazing. If I get my hands on them, I will. Doctor Who solo games. So there's also a solo play game. Game books are based on the popular TV series Doctor Who. In this game, you take the role of Doctor and set out to save the galaxy from oppression. So, possibility of exciting adventure, mystery. Yeah. So, you've got a solo play game book as well, which is brilliant. I mean, opposite Doctor Who, we've got Star Trek, the role-playing game. Now, Fasa had this first. They popularized this particular game. It moved on substantially now, and interestingly, it says basic game 2004 up here, which is the game number, because this was published in 1986 or around about that time, as we saw at the front of the catalogue. So you've got here the role-playing game basic set. And now you can join the USS Enterprise in Star Trek, the role-playing game. I love Star Trek as well. Each player assumes the identity of the character of the Star Trek universe. While controlling the actions of this character, the player leads him through one adventure after another, facing new challenges and unknown dangers. Each game is ever-changing story as players, kind of standard thing. So we've got so there's a cadet's orientation source book, a game operation manual. So you've got a couple of books in there. Oh, and the Starfleet's officer's manual. So you obviously get a box and some manuals, and you also, there's down here, there's the deluxe edition, slightly different box, similar style. This is the game that started the Star Trek line and contains all you need to play the Star Trek adventure. For role-playing planet side adventures, there is a basic game set which includes the cadets. For starship combat, ranging from ship to ship encounters to fleet actions, there is a complete starship combat role-playing game including 64-page rulebook. So there's the actual space combat involved with that, and it also got some tags here which are additional products. You've got the Starfleet Intelligence Manual and the Star Trek Ground Forces Manual. And then there's the Federation, a book which describes the Federation of Planets, a complete, concise source book. The Federation describes the structure. So you've got quite a bit of source material there. Now, turning it over, we've now sort of bombarded with a whole selection of Star Trek stuff, pretty much like we were with the Battletech. We've got the Star Trek Starship Combat game. Take command of a starship and outmaneuver the enemies. And then we've got the Ship Construction Manual. All data and tables necessary to construct a ship of Romulan, Klingon, Orion, Gorn, or Federation origin are provided in an easy-to-use format. So you can really have a deep dive. Starfleet Marines. Wow. Starfleet Marines is a board game of tactical ground combat set in Star Trek universe. Never seen this before. That looks fascinating. I mean, I haven't looked up any of the prices on these, but I'm sure that's probably quite an expensive thing to pick up on eBay these days. Play simulate battles between Marines of Starfleet and Klingon Imperial Marines. I should imagine that probably has some expansions. And then we've got a source book update here. A major new motion picture. So at the time, so obviously Star Trek 4 must have been out, and they've got bring Star Trek role-playing game universe up to date with the official Star Trek 4 source book. Interestingly, you've got the I and the V there, and it's got four tallies or 4 eyes or whatever there instead of the I and the V on the actual book, which is kind of wrong and strange. But you know, what the hell? Sections. So there's all sorts of updates. changes to insignia equipment, sidearms, and shipboard systems. So they really fed in, used the film and really fed into it. Over on this side, we've got the Romulans. This rules expansion of Star Trek, the role-playing game, provides fascinating facts about the Romulans. Yep, there you can see. I love this artwork. And then over here, trader captains and merchant princesses. Princes. This 2-book rules supplement for Star Trek. So loads of stuff. The Orions hold a unique place in the Star Trek universe. And Operation Armageddon. Operation Armageddon is the name of the Starfleet Command's Staff College war game exercise, which all officers must take prior to graduation. The game has finally been declassified, and Fasa was given permission to produce it for the general public. So, wow. So this game, including the game, an easy-to-read rulebook. They never were easy to read back then. Over 2,000 playing pieces, dice and maps of the entire Star Trek universe, measuring 78 inches by 66 inches. That's over 35 square feet of playing area. Truly a monster game. No kidding. Never seen that. Sounds like could be quite a tricky one to learn about. Flipping over again, we've got more Star Trek stuff. We've got a Klingons 2nd edition, Struggle for the Throne, and Klingon Ship Recognition Manual. Look at this beautiful picture down here. It's a little tricky to see, but it's kind of like a cross section of a Klingon ship. And with this ship recognition manuals, so Klingons, the Federation, and the Romulans. So you get all the specs, how deep the lore for Star Trek is, and it's still being developed. And you can see this beautiful little drawing in the background here, this Klingon bird of prey. You've got Star Trek adventure modules, all these here. Margin of profit, probably does that include Ferengi, I wonder? Where has all the glory gone? Graduation exercise, decision at midnight. The triangle. This is a whole bunch of Star Trek stuff there, mind blowing. And then to sort of really top it all off, you have got these Hex Baits, because Fasa use Hex based system in a lot of their stuff, including Battletech, and you can see all the ships here, and they look so modern. Their style is sleek and refined. Wow. Things like the USS Larson, regular one, Space Laboratory. Is that the one out of the Wrath of Khan? I think so. Klingon Birds of Prey, USS Enterprise there, and the other version, the earlier version there, USS Reliant. They look really beautiful. Just to have those lined up on a shelf in the studio here would be awesome. And then at the back we have an interesting little thing here. Now this is obviously quite removed, but you've got a Top Gun board game of aerial combat. Wow. The Top Gun Fighter Combat board game features a step-by-step rule system that allows players to that. I guess they're trying to pull in other types of players, because the rest of it is kind of largely it's sci-fi based, and that is, you know, where their expertise is, in a sense. They're kind of the hex based sci-fi game, but ties in the role play. So guys, that is a look at the catalogue of games from the fall of 1986 from the Fasa Corporation. Hope you found it interesting. If you've got any comments, add them down below. If I've made any mistakes with any references, please let me know. I don't mind at all. This is a new channel, so if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. And if you found it interesting, click the thumbs up, because that will help with the YouTube algorithm. Very much appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.